Welcome back. In our previous lesson, we calculated the tempo of my imported event to be approximately 95 beats per minute. Now we're going to check how it sounds with the click track active during playback, just to make sure my calculation was all right. The click track is active. Metronome during play and during recording are set up. Okay, and let's start our playback. And playback has stopped. That sounds about right. Let's change our zoom level. You may recall that the imported file appeared to be 11 bars long when our fixed tempo was set at the default value of 120 beats per minute. But with the correct tempo defined now, the file is 8 bars, and that makes more sense as loops generally come in groups of 4 bars. Okay, we are ready to repeat this event to create a loop. We're going to repeat it 4 times, and we'll use the method that we learned in our lesson about the repeat tool. Let's select the event, toggle snap off, position the cursor, edit, repeat, and now we select the number of times. Let's say 4. Do we want to share the copies? Yes, we do. Let's check that, and click OK to accept. And let's check to see what our repeated events look like. We'll zoom to full. Here are the 5 instances of our event. I just clicked in blank space in the project window to deselect them. We've got about 40 bars of material now. Let's just zoom in on the end to check that out. And let's go back to zoom full. And let's select and delete the last instance of the groove event. This will give us about 32 bars. To see the length in minutes and seconds, we can change the display of the ruler, or we can look at the secondary time display in the transport panel. Let's remove the click during playback. Control or Command click the pre-count click button to open the metronome setup window, uncheck metronome in play, and let's click OK. Now I'm going to lay down some material on the cello track. Let's take a look at the track. It's record enabled, the red button is lit up, and the monitor is on because the little speaker button is yellow. The cursor is currently positioned around bar 40. Let's return it to 0. And now let's pull up the mixer with an F3 to check my levels. Notice that there's a clip on the master output. That means overall levels of the imported file are too hot. Let's click on the clip indicator to reset it. And let's check our inputs and outputs. Mono in looks good. Let's check the levels for that input, mono in. The last peak measured at -10.8. Let's click it to reset. And let's test out this input by playing the loudest part of my piece. I could use a little boost here, so I'm going to increase the level on the instrument a bit just by sliding up the volume on the keyboard. Then I'll reset the meter. And let's close the mixer. Unmute the groove track. Disable cycle mode. Otherwise, we'll only record the range between the locators. Before we start recording, there's just a couple more things to do. I'd like to enable pre-click counts. I'd also like to disable the click track, and that's because I don't want to hear the clicking while I'm recording. I'd rather follow the beat as it's lined out in the groove event. The first thing we'll hear are the pre-clicks. let's press stop to end our recording. Return to 0. Disable the monitor. And let's have a listen. Let's check our levels in the mixer. Let's lower the groove so the output stops clipping. We'll adjust until the output channel stops clipping during playback. Let's stop playback and close the mixer. And this concludes our exercise. We'll see you in our next lesson where we'll back up this project.